Dear students, today I am taking up chapter 24, the doubling principle. We know the normal length of the stroke is 1/6 of an inch. And we have learnt in the previous chapter what happens when a stroke is howled. The sound of either T or D is added. Here, in this chapter, we will see what happens when a stroke is doubled in length. The general rule of doubling principle is when a stroke is doubled in length, the sounds of ter, der, ter, der, etc. is added, except the strokes imp and ing. I will deal with these two consonants later. So in case of other strokes, when a stroke is doubled, the sounds of ter, der, thar, dar, etc. are added. For example, in case of curved stroke, phi, if you double this, it becomes fighter. Ter sound is added. Future, this is few. If you double that, the sound of ter is added. Future. But to double a straight stroke, certain conditions to be fulfilled. Either one of the following conditions to be fulfilled to double a straight stroke. First condition is there must be a circle attached to the straight stroke in the beginning, or the stroke which has to be doubled, there should be another consonant attached to that. Another consonant attached to that. Or there must be a final hook. Which are the final hooks? N hook, F or V hook, or Shen hook. Or fourth condition, there must be an attached final diphthong. Which are the final diphthongs? O and U. And the condition, it should be attached. Now let us take one by one. You see these words. Cater and skater. K is a straight stroke. To double this, to add the sound of ter, any one of these conditions should be satisfied. Whether, let us see, any one of the conditions are satisfied. There is no circle. Another consonant is not attached. There is no final hook. There is no attached final diphthong. Here in this case, you cannot double the consonant K to add the sound of ter. So here what you have to do? You have to write R and T. You cannot double. If you double it and write it like this, what happens? You will read it as cake, not cater. Another example. Potter, captain. Now P. You have to double P and add the sound of ter. Is it possible? No. None of the conditions are satisfying. So here you cannot double. For ter, you have to write R and T. In case of captor, K, P, cap. Now by doubling P, you have to add the sound of ter. Here it is possible because for P, another consonant K is attached. So P may be doubled to add the sound of ter, captor. Now, wader, wonder. Now by doubling W, you have to add the sound of der. None of the conditions are there. So you cannot double, you have to write Marukan D. But in case of wonder, one, there is a final hook N. So here it may be doubled to add the sound of der. We doubled N hook, one, der. The other example, daughter, doubter. Daughter, for doubling D, you have to add the sound of ter. None of the conditions will satisfy. So you cannot double. So for daughter, you have to write D and ter. Dove, there is an attached diphthong. So here D may be doubled to add the sound of ter, doubter. So these are the four conditions. Either one of these conditions should be satisfied to double a straight stroke. This stroke M, when it is thickened, we know it represents imp or imb. When you double this stroke, instead of adding ter sound, etc., the only R sound is added. So when imp is doubled, it represents the sound of imper and imber. In the previous chapter, we have learned that when Aruk is given to ing in the beginning, that also represents the same sound, imper and imber. So there are two alternative forms for this sound, imper and imber. Let us see when we have to use this hooked form of imper and imber, and when we have to use this double end form of imper and imber. After upward stroke, which are the upward strokes? Re, ve, ye, he. These are all the upward strokes. After this, if imper and imber comes, you must always use the hooked form of imper. For example, hamper, he is an upward stroke. We have to use imper, hooked form of imper. After horizontal also, if imper and imber comes, then also we have to use hooked form. Cumber, C-U-M-B-R, cumber. K is a horizontal stroke, so we have to use hooked form. Except these two cases, in all other cases, we make use of the double end form of imper and imber. For example, chamber, imb doubled. Tamper, T, imp doubled. Next. In the same way, ing. When ing is doubled, here also the sound of either cur or gur is added. So, ing doubled represents ing cur or ing gur. In the previous chapters we have learned when aruk is added to ing, that also represents the same sound, ing cur and ing gur. Now, let us see when we have to use the hooked form of inker and inger, and when we have to use the double end form of inker and inger. When a word begins with a circle, then we have to use the double end form of inker and inger. For example, sinker, surplus ing, double. After upward stroke, the doublet form of inkar and inger is used. For example, K is an upper stroke, then ing double, if you write, it represents hunger, H-U-N-G-R, hunger. When a word begins with inkar and inger, then also we use doublet form of inkar and inger. For example, in the word anchorage, so beginning there is inkar sound. So we use doublet form of inkar and inger and then J, anchorage. Next, when L is standing alone and only surplus is attached, when it is doubled, only the sound of ter is added, not any other sounds. Der, thar, etc. is not added. For example, letter you can double. But for leader, you have to write L and der. Because by doubling L, when it is standing alone, we cannot add the sound of der. So for leader, you have to write in L der. In the same way, leather also, L der. But when it is a final hook, you can double L for the sound of addition of der also. As in lender, there is a final hook. So in that case, you can double this for addition of der also, lender. Now, how to read a double and stroke? This is V double surplus. How do we read? First, if there is an initial vowel, you have to read that vowel first. Otherwise, we have to read the consonant that we are doubling. If there is a following vowel, you have to pronounce that. And then after that vowel, after doubling, whatever sound we get, you have to pronounce that sound. And then circle which is at the end, it should be pronounced at the end. So it becomes voters. In the same way, this one, ray doubled, n circle. So first left side, then no vowel. So consonant R is being doubled. That should be pronounced first. Right hand side vowel is A. And then circle is at the n side. So you have to pronounce that. And then by doubling that, whatever sound you get, and then S should be pronounced at the end. So you have to read it as renders. This is how you have to read a double and stroke. In case of past tense, we must always use having principle. In present tense, we must always use the doubling principle. Canter, past tense is cantered. So you have to use having principle. Cant, K hard and N, aired, double or hard and second. Render, redoubled, N. Rendered, past tense. So you have to use having principle. Render, ray RD sound, ray hard. Rendered. We do not use doubling principle when a vowel comes after ter or der. For example, flatter you can use, but flattery, after ter there is e vowel. So here you cannot double. So you have to write flattery, fal, t and re. Flattery. Next, position of double length. When a stroke is doubled, what should be the position of the outline? There are three cases. The rule which applies in case of upward strokes, the rule which applies in case of downward strokes, the rule which applies in case of horizontal strokes. Now in case of upward stroke, which are the upward stroke? Re, ve, ye, he, etc. When these are doubled, irrespective If there is a first place vowel, it is written above the line. For example, lighter, I diphthong is there. It is written above the line. Letter, L doubled, A vowel. Second place is there. It is written on the line. Liter, there is a third place vowel. It is written through the line. So in case of upward stroke, there is no change in the rule. First place above the line, second place on the line, third place through the line. In case of downward stroke, which are the downward strokes? P, B, T, D, Ch, J, downward hay. These are the downward strokes. When these strokes are doubled, irrespective of the vowel, whether there is a first place vowel or second place vowel or a third place vowel, all the double and downward strokes should always be written through the line. For example, tender, that is A vowel. So you should not write like this on the line because A is the second place vowel. Even though it is a second place vowel, as it is a downward stroke, it is written through the line only. All the double and downward strokes are written through the line only. Fetter, A vowel. So this also downward stroke. So it should be written through the line only. In case of horizontal strokes, matter, first place, it is written above the line. Mother, it is second place, it is written on the line. But meter, even though there is a third place vowel, it should be written on the line only because there is a rule. Horizontal double and strokes should not be written through the line. This is about the positions of the outlines. Doubling principle in phraseography. In phraseography, we use the doubling principle to add the words THERE or THEIR, for example. This is has to be, surplus B through the line. Now you have to write has to be there. You double this. The sound of there is added. I can be. You double this. B. There sound is added. I can be there. This is upon. You double this. There sound. Upon there. THEIR sound is added. So that ends the chapter on phraseography. Now, the grammalogs in this chapter. Charhad above the line represents chaired. Charhad on the line represents chaired. Surplus Yenhard grammalog sent. If you write sent on the line, what happens? It becomes is not. That is why the sent is written above the line. Tharhad on the line represents stirred. Sharhad above the line represents short. Surplus Parhad represent on the line. It represents spirit. Downward Arhad and thickened above the line, it represents yard. On the line, it represents word. Ray doubled on the line represents rather, R-A-T-H-R, rather or writer, W-R-I-T-R. Way doubled N-hook represents wonderful, wonderfully. Dar doubled through the line represents therefore. Surplus Kal on the line represents school. If you have it, it represents cooled. These are the grammalogs. You practice each grammalog, one page each. After that, you write at least one line each gram that have come in the previous chapters so that you can remember them. Now, exercise number 91. Here, shorthand outlines are there. As usual, you read those shorthand outlines, copy those shorthand outlines, and transcribe it. After that, you check up with the key that is given at the end. If you have made any mistakes, you write that outline several times so that you will not repeat the mistake again. Now, exercise 92. Open the key. There you will find shorthand outlines. You read the shorthand outlines, copy the shorthand outlines, transcribe them, and afterwards you check up with the key that is in exercise 92, page 150. Page 115. If you have made any mistakes, write those outlines several times so that you will not repeat that mistake again. Now, I will give the dictation of exercise number 93. Please get ready for the dictation. Start. Chambers of commerce are to be found in the chief centers of the country. They take in hand the collection of information for both importers and exporters, and they gather in their files wonderful facts and figures dealing with matters of importance to their members. There are usually different sections under different chairmen for different trades such as the leather trade, and these sections naturally endeavor to centralize their efforts on the particular business in which their members are engaged in. The chambers keep a watchful eye upon legislators so as to enter an early protest against any legislation likely to hinder international trade. One chamber took the rather unusual course of acting as trustees for debenture holders of property in a foreign country. The present writer is not aware of another instance of this wonderfully useful service by a chamber of commerce. Now, exercise 94. I will give the dictation. Please get ready for dictation. Start. We have to hand today under last Wednesday's date another copy of the wonderful catalog issued by Crowder and Sanderson. Their motorcycle department rather appeals to the boys in this school, and we have therefore sent word that we should like several extra copies of the catalog. The new leather belt, just over a yard in length for use with a waterproof coat, seems wonderfully cheap. There is also a rather attractive lamp with silvered reflector, suitable for any holder, and this should take well with the boys. These people are enterprising. They are inventors as well as dealers, and therefore we should be able to rely upon their motor fittings being absolutely up to date. Thank you.